Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today, let me tell you, some stuff happened. It got weird. This is a totally unexpected episode. I didn't know what I was going to do today. I mean, post-PCA, you know, it's like, what am I going to get into? I got some interviews scheduled up, but those aren't coming up until later. What am I going to do for this episode? And then randomly, I sent Trey Mac at Aladino a message, and I said, hey, when is that Sticks Out for Harambe event that you're doing at Party Source? And he said, next Tuesday. And I said, next Tuesday? As in like 4 days away? And he's like, yeah. And, I made a spur-of-the-moment decision. And I drove my happy ass to Cincinnati. It got weird this week, guys. So, yeah. This past weekend, I was prepping for that. You know, I had my son. I was getting the newspaper done. That's why we shifted the dates as to recording with Sean and Danny for the PCA recap and everything. That worked out wonderfully. And it allowed me to hit the road, get going, and make it to Cincinnati. And I'm going to get all into that trip. But first, let's get into why we were doing that event. So he was doing that event as part of the nationwide launch of the Gorbusto line. So we have the Gorbusto. There's the three cigars. They're all 6.5 by 4.5 by 60s. So the short, stubby guys, much like Trey Mac, and they have 3 different ones. And they're all themed off of the different primate. So you have chimp, you have orang, and you have gory. And gory's a gorilla, orang is an orangutan, and chimp is, well, a chimp. And they have their different personalities and everything. And apparently that's supposed to kind of match the blend of the cigar. The blends are undisclosed. Now, granted, I make the argument that if you paid attention to the Camp Aladino Gorbustos that were out last year, then you probably can figure out what these are. But Sean and I, and I'll get into why Sean was there. Sean and I had a conversation with Trey Mac about this at the event at Party Source, and you know he's sticking to his guns that these may be new blends, these may be old blends. You just don't know. It's undisclosed, so. There was no confirmation about this. But anyway, today I will be smoking the one that I have not tried yet. And I will be smoking the chimp. He's a dapper guy. Look at him with his glasses there. You know, he's got the glasses and everything. But it's a nice, you know, light, kind of caramely looking wrapper. Nice gold accents on the band with chimp on the label there. Now, yeah, you know, we're gonna do this. So time to cut and light the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. 2 Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows 2 Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. And remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. Now, I am checking something real quick. Because I want to see. I don't know if they did or not. So they did. You can now go to 2guyscigars.com and pick up your Gorbustos. Gorbustos over there for a 4.5 by 60. The single will run you $11.29, or you can get a box of, I assume, 20. Let's just click it and make sure. Box of 20. runs you $197.99. So let's do that math real quick. That brings it down to $9.89 for a single out of the box, or per cigar. So you can get the Gorbusto for under $10 a cigar if you buy it by the box at twoguyscigars.com. And they have the Orang, the Gory, and the Chimp all available on their website. So, yeah, fun times. You can head on over there and get the Gorbustos. And get that going on. But, yeah. All right, so time to cut the cigar. And you... here, I'm going to cut it. And then from there, we will light it, and you'll listen to the greatest commercial you've ever heard, and then we'll go from there. But anyway, guys, it's been a weird week. It's been a very odd week. Lots of stuff going on. And it's been hard to keep track of everything. So forgive me if I feel just a little scatterbrained right now. Give that guy a little tap. Give it a little cold draw. Schmuckus. What was that? There's a little saltiness to it. Kind of like a fig component. Yeah, like a fig. Not a raisin, but a fig. There's a fig component. All right, well, while I light this guy, let's listen to the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so, they can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah. So, let's start at the beginning. I got everything ready. Now Monday rolls around, and it's time for me to hit the road. From here to Cincinnati, you're looking at right about a 5-hour drive, just over a 5-hour drive. And, you know, that's not so bad. It's 4 hours from here to Indianapolis when I go and visit my dad. So I figured, yeah, what's an extra hour? However, Monday, St. Louis was under the gun weather-wise. We were looking at some pretty nasty storms rolling into the area. And so it was a matter of like, okay, I got to hit the road quick because I don't want to be driving into storms. And it was like multiple rounds. Like there was a morning round, there was an afternoon round that popped up, and then the big stuff was in the evening. And so when I hit the road, I did so right before the afternoon ones hit. And so I had the storms at my heels for quite a ways. I did stop probably about 40 minutes from my house to light up my first cigar. I didn't do so right when I left the house for whatever reason. And I did do a drive time review. I had every intention thinking I'm going to be in the car for this long to get a whole bunch of drive time reviews done. I got one done. And it's because after lighting that cigar and getting back on the road, did not stop again until I got to my destination in Bellevue, Kentucky, just on the Kentucky side of Cincinnati. So right there at the river. And I just drove the whole way through. I didn't stop. And I should have stopped. There were many times I should have stopped. But again, I had those storms right at my heels, and I didn't want to drive in the rain. And then also, quite frankly, the route that my mapping system took me, it took me an area that there weren't a lot of great places to stop. There were some truck stops, but they were kind of a little off the road. And I didn't want to, you know how it is. You don't want to drive a mile off the road to then have to drive back to the road. It's like, if it were right there, I would have been like, oh yeah, no big deal. But the only one that was kind of that way was like Santa Claus, Indiana, where Holiday World is at. And I just kind of chose to not, at that point. So yeah, I smoked one cigar the entire way there. And you'll find out which one that is when that drive time review comes up. But I just chose not to. And so smoking wise on the way there was kind of boring. But it was an easy drive, super quick, super easy. I made it there. I made it there, Monday evening, and got checked into my hotel. I stayed at the Holiday Inn, which was right behind the location of the event. So the event was at Party Source, which for anybody who's never been to Party Source or never heard of Party Source, holy shit, this place was enormous. It's hard for me to describe how big this place was. When I drove past it, I looked at it. I'm like, it's like a warehouse. I mean, it's enormous. And it shares a parking lot with this really big distillery, New Riff Distillery, I think I think it's New Riff. And I'll Google it, make sure. But yeah, it's this massive facility. But we'll get to that in a little bit. I stayed at the Holiday Inn. And so I got to the Holiday Inn, I got checked into my room, and my room was nice. My room was very nice. The bed was soft and the pillows were soft, but just firm enough that it gave me enough pushback to where it's like, okay, it was super comfortable. I don't want it to be too soft to where when I lay my head down, the pillow forms around and I feel like I'm laying down on the mattress because it's so soft. No, there was some density and it was good. It was nice. It was pleasant. I went downstairs and I asked the lady at the front desk where I should get dinner. She told me, and by this point, the rain had caught up. So it was raining outside. But I got in the car, and I drove to the place that she told me, but it had street parking only, and it was busy. So I'm like, all right, I am not going to walk in the rain for this place. And I ended up deciding to just go to the restaurant in the parking lot, which was a Big Boy's. And guys, I was excited because it had the big, I was hoping it would have the Big Boy statue so I could get a cool picture with the Big Boy statue, the Big Boy holding the bun or the burger up, and everything. I might have a bank over there somewhere of the Big Boy now that I think about it. I think I have a bank that it's like the Big Boy. But alas, there was no statue and I felt cheated there. And then I go inside and I'm the only one in there, customer-wise. That should have told me something too. And, I was thinking about it. I'm like, let's not do a big, heavy dinner. Let's just get something that's not going to cause some acid reflux, not going to cause some heartburn. Let's just get something light. So they had breakfast all day, and I figured, you know what? Just some simple scrambled eggs and 2 pancakes. It's good. It's all I need. I've never had greasier, oilier scrambled eggs than I did at the Big Boy. To the point that I was only able to eat about half of them. Because if I would have eaten any more, I'd have been completely pooping my brains out the entire next day. The pancakes were equally interesting. I've never had pancakes that had an aftertaste of char and umami. It's like they didn't clean off the griddle from all the burgers and various things that they'd cooked on it all day. They just decided that they were just going to pour the batter and just cook the pancakes on the same griddle, and whatever remnants of the entire day's worth of food, be damned, they were going to become part of my pancake. And so it was a less than ideal dinner. Service was nice. The lady who served me, she was very pleasant. But the food itself was very subpar. And so I left the big boys in disappointment. But I got back to the hotel, and because I hadn't smoked all trip, I asked the lady at the desk, I was like, I'd like to have a cigar, but it's raining. I said, would you mind if I sit under the canopy in the front? Because they have the little drive-up area, the carport basically in the very front. I was like, can I sit under the canopy and take one of the chairs from the dining room and sit out there? She said, it's nighttime. There's nobody coming. She's like, that's fine. She's like, maybe just don't, sit in the, don't sit, where the rain, chair's going to get wet. And I told her, I said, no, I don't want to get wet. So I'm not going to sit where the chair is going to get wet. So, I sat outside and I had my cigar. And, I actually had a Gorbusto because I had one from PCA with me, and I wanted something that I thought was going to smoke quick. And 4.5 by 60, I'm thinking, I'll blow through this thing. It's a deceptively long smoke, guys. It's a very densely packed cigar, and I sat there with wind and rain, and it wasn't the most pleasant of environments to be sitting and smoking in. But it worked. It was dry and it was fine. And but there was wind. And I sat there and I smoked that Gorbusto. And then I realized, wow, that ash is getting really big. And then I kept watching it and I was like, it's still really big. And I didn't ash that cigar until the end. I will put up pictures at some point to show the ash progression of this Gorbusto. I'm also not going to ash this Gorbusto. This Gorbusto. I'm going to see how long I can hold the ash on the chimp that I am currently smoking. But anyway, it was a nice night. Got settled in, got a good night's sleep. Woke up at 7. Had a nice shower. Had water pressure. That's a big difference between this Holiday Inn in Bellevue and the hotel I stayed at in New Orleans for PCA. That hotel, any one of you could have walked into my room and spit on me and it would have been harder water pressure than the shower. The Holiday Inn, very pleasant. Was great. I enjoyed it. So, all in all, I'm giving the Holiday Inn very high marks. Went downstairs, had my coffee. The only drawback to the Holiday Inn. So they have at the Holiday Inn, they have these wonderful machines. The pancake machines. You go up, you press the button, little batter comes down onto a conveyor belt, and it just like kind of pushes the pancake through, bakes it, and now on the other end, bloop, poops out the pancake onto your plate. It's amazing. I want one. I've priced them before. They're about $250. I think they would be a wonderful thing for anybody's nightstand. You put that thing on the nightstand. Let's say 3 a.m. you wake up. You're like, oh my God, what time is it? What time is it? Push the button, eat a pancake, roll back over, go to bed. It'd be great. Trey Mac would have problems. If you recall, he had the whole NyQuil situation and the saltine crackers and everything. He'd wake up with batter and shit everywhere. But how nice would that be? To just have a pancake machine right there at the ready. Even if you didn't have it on your nightstand like a fat guy, you could put it in the kitchen. And then just you walk in, you're like, I feel like a pancake. Boop, boop, boop. 3 stack. Done. Right there. Be amazing. But I digress. The pancake machine was broken. But they did have the Holiday Inn cinnamon rolls. And so I had a Holiday Inn cinnamon roll and a coffee. And from there, I went and picked up Trey Mac at his hotel. He did not have a car at this moment, and so I went and picked him up. And so we got together, and he said, "Let's go get breakfast." He said, "We need to go to this place and get breakfast." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he told me, I'm looking, it's called Bellevue Bistro is the name of this place. And he said, you have to go there and you gotta get the gotta getta grilled cheese. And I was like, what in the hell is this? And he's like, you gotta try getta. And I said, what is getta? Getta, spelled Goetta, is apparently some sort of Cincinnati-based, like, thing. It's a staple of Cincinnati, and it's like spackle. It's like pork and beef sausage that's like mixed with oats, and they like kind of fry it to make like a patty. And so this sandwich was bread, like toast, with egg, like fried egg and cheese, and 2 patties of getta. And he's making such a big deal out of this, and whatever else. And so I'm like expecting something unique. I take a bite and I'm like, it tastes like a sausage patty. But I guess it's one of these like Depression era throwback foods where it's like they got to stretch the meat to make it go further, and so they add the oats in and everything like that. I thought it was good. I had no problem with it. I thought it was tasty. Came with a nice side of potatoes. I ate half my sandwich. The sandwich was so freaking big. I didn't eat all. Oh, it also came with like a side of this like bacon marmalade or bacon jelly. That was good. You dip the sandwich in that, and it was tasty. But yeah, so we had this delightful breakfast at the Bellevue Bistro. And then after we did that, we popped over to Party Source. He had to check in with Party Source to make sure that all of the supplies for his event that evening were in the shop. And that's the first time I walked in. And guys, I'm not a drinker. You all know this about me. But if I were, this is nirvana. This is heaven. This is like the best place ever. It's Disneyland. It is huge. I cannot emphasize. I wish I knew how many. You know what? Let me Google here. I'm curious. Square footage of Party Source, Bellevue, Kentucky. 113,000 square feet. 113,000 square feet of nothing but liquor, cigars, and one little corner of like party supplies like plates and napkins and streamers and that shit. It's heaven. Absolute heaven. So many bottles of just anything you want, anything you could possibly want. If you're a bourbon drinker, you're going to find whatever you want there. They had bottled. Again, I'm not a drinker, so I don't know this stuff. But apparently, at the party that night, everyone was talking about how they had these bottles of E.H. Taylor out there, and they had a whole bunch of them, and they were like $60 a piece. And the guys were like, "I'm going to give me one of those." Blah blah blah. I guess that's like a good thing. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but apparently it was a big deal. But the humidor, it was great. You walk in the front door, and the first thing to your right, just past the customer service desk, is the humidor. Big giant walk-in. Lots of selection. And right up front, right when you walk in the door, bam, the Aladinos are right there. So they love their Aladinos. Great humidor. Super nice people. Good prices on their cigars, too. Not like undercutting, but like not going crazy. Like I'm not finding a $19 midnight twist like I do at Total Wine, I found a My Father Blue Toro there for just under $11. So, let me tell you, that's nice. That's good. But anyway, we stopped there to check this place out, and that's where I met Paul, and he was working the humidor. Super nice dude. knowledgeable as hell. He's got some experience in the industry. We talked about that at the party that night. And it was a good time. So we found, Trey Mac and I were going to go on a mission later that day. And so we needed to find something that we could leave at a memorial for Harambe, the gorilla. Harambe was the gorilla that 10 years ago was shot after a child had gotten into his enclosure, and I guess Harambe was dragging the child or something like that. And so they shot Harambe and killed him. And Trey Mac, he wanted to go and pay his respects and honor Harambe at the 10-year anniversary of his death. Now, the 10-year anniversary of his death is technically the end of May. However, due to travel and everything like that, it's the end of April, so it's as close as we're going to get. And since he's launching the Gorbustos with the monkey themes, it kind of just seemed a little appropriate. And so we found a few things at the party search. Now, I wish he were on the show right now so we could talk about this moment together. But I'm going to give you my perspective of this. He's looking around in the front section where they have the party favors and things like that for things. Looking for something we could leave as a memorial for Harambe. And there's a nice young lady working that section. And she says, "Hey guys, can I help you out with something?" And I proceeded to tell her that there was no way in hell I was going to answer that question and that he could answer that question for you. Because I was not going to be the one to say, yeah, we're looking for something to honor Harambe with. But Trey Mac, on the other hand, flat out said, yeah, I'm looking for something that I can leave as a memorial. I'm going to go and pay my respects and honor Harambe. And I have never seen a woman, and trust me, guys, I've turned off many a woman, but I've never seen a woman go so cold so instantly as when he said that. She barely acknowledged the statement, turned around, started doing what she was doing, eventually walked around the desk and started doing paperwork. And he is continuing to try and talk to her about this, to try and bring this up and explain what he's doing. In fact, he even says, yeah, I'm with a cigar company and I'm doing an event here tonight and blah, 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 and all that. She gave no shits at all. And it was easily the funniest shutdown by a woman I've ever seen. She shut him down. So it's uncanny. And you had to be there for it. I'm not doing it justice, but it was just so funny. So funny. So we found a few things, and you'll see them later. And we left, and now we were supposed to be meeting up with Trey Mac's broker that he has for Aladino in this area to go to the zoo, and that's Kumal is his name. And so we had a little bit of time because I guess Kumal, was running a slightly off schedule or something like that. I don't know. And so we just kind of popped around the area a little bit. And we eventually met up with Kumal and went to the Cincinnati Zoo. And let me tell you guys, it was a very nice zoo. St. Louis is better. I'll just be honest. I'm not being a homer. The St. Louis Zoo is better for a lot of different reasons. Not the least of which is we have different and more animals, and we're free. I paid $17, and that was with a 50% off discount that Kumal was able to get me because he's a member of the Cincinnati Zoo. And so he and his lovely partner Kate joined us, and they are members at that zoo, and so they got me a 50% discount, and so my ticket was $17. But guys, $34 to go into Cincinnati Zoo would have been an outrage. And when you stop and think about it, a family of 4 2 adults, 2 kids, let's do that math real quick. You'd be looking at about $100 to go to the zoo. That's nuts when you can go to the St. Louis Zoo and it's totally free. So I'm spoiled. I recognize that. I have a world-class, awesome zoo, and it's totally free for me to go and fart around in, and I think it's great. But we went to the zoo. We saw the cats. We went through the cats, and all this, and we did a few things. But then we found the primate section. And so we're walking in. And, I think this is a really good time for me to go ahead and just go into the video package. Actually, before I go into the video package, I will say the zoo was followed by a brief meal at a Asian American place where I had like easily the biggest pot or spring roll I've ever had in my life. It's like a fucking burrito. And then there was the event at Party Source. So, before I get into that, the other aspect I want to clear up, and it kind of ties into this. I know I'm all over the place, but you got to follow me here. There was a lot going on. Sean that was down at PCA with me, he decided he wanted to come to this too. And so Sean gets on a flight from Marquette to Chicago on Monday, and then he was supposed to take a flight from Chicago to Cincinnati Monday evening. Well, the problem was when he got to Chicago, all those storms, those big-ass storms I was talking about that are hitting St. Louis, well, they were also hitting Chicago, and so all flights to Cincinnati were canceled. So he ended up staying the night in Chicago. Well, then the next day, him trying to figure out how to get to Cincinnati, it was a giant mess. Eventually, the poor bastard got a flight into Lexington, Kentucky, where he then rented a car and drove up to the event. He got there probably in the neighborhood about 5:30, which the event started at 5. So it's 5. He made it. That's what matters. But it was a lot of effort, a lot of planes, trains, and automobiles effort to be there. And I'm sorry that he missed the zoo. That was a touching moment. But anyway, I wanted to clarify that Sean was there and whatnot. But now let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into a little video package that I put together. So this is a video package that kind of details our trip to the zoo, and it shows a little bit of the event at Party Source. And it gives you a little bit of a view of the inside of Party Source so that you can see just all that this place has to offer. It's nuts. I do a little walkthrough in one aisle. I only go down like one aisle of Party Source here. And I show off there's another view where you see the beer and the wine section. The wine section is way off at the side, but I'm standing kind of at the edge of the beer to the liquor and whatnot. And then I do a walkthrough of the humidor. It's a real quick walkthrough. I mean, if you're wanting to study what brand and what price and everything like that, you're not going to see too much of that. But it's just a real quick walkthrough of the humidor. Maybe like a minute just to walk through. But I wanted to do this. And so from there, then you get to hear Trey Mac's little speech that he gave to all of us about both his trip to the zoo and the Gorbustos. So why don't we go ahead to go to the video package, and then when that's over with, we'll come back and I will finish my story and we'll get into the rest of the episode.
Wow. We're here. This is Cincinnati Zoo. This is where in 2016, one of our fellow patrons spent his last day on this planet. Not being a bad guy, Things happen. It's life. It could happen to any of us, too. But Harambe was a great patriot, a great American, and the timeline has shifted. Our timeline's been all fucked up since then. We had a pandemic. Donald Trump got elected like twice. Things are weird. It all started right here. Now, Punch Monkey, please say Punch Monkey out there, people, because I feel like the timeline is shifting back. Look at, like, see, look at that. Look. They got a sense for fashion. Punch Monkey, I think, is our key to getting the timeline back. Do everything you can to save that little guy. We're trying to get back to normal. You know, Sinbad came out and did say that he did do the movie, what is it, Shazam? Not Kazam, that's Shaq. Shazam with Sinbad. He says it's real. I feel like the timeline's getting back. It all started right here. I don't know. I don't have the words. Oh, but the fashion. The fashion on this ape. Oh, look at that. I did not know the gorillas were that fashionable. It's not an ape nor monkey. It's a kunali. It's a kunali. I'm actually kind of like, look at the silverback. Look at the back on that thing. Look at the head on that thing. Still doesn't hold a candle to Harambe.
girls doing tonight? Wow, no one's fucked with me yet. I mean, it's been good. I know the dirty table's back there, so just stay back there. Yeah, Troy, I know. Yeah. Hey, hey guys, tonight was the national launch for our new Gorbusto cigar. That was the one that was in your guys' packs today. We're really fun and excited about this new product, mainly because, like, for us, we're a very traditional company, and this was something we want to do a cigar that was totally non-traditional. Marketing's non-traditional. It's a size we would never make, and it's also a little bit bolder blends that we wouldn't usually do. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think it's going to be a huge success, and especially since we're here in Cincinnati. I don't know if you guys know this, but we're coming up on the 10th anniversary of the death of Harambe. I know. So I had a little speech written because earlier today I went to the Cincinnati Zoo and paid my respects. And I might have poured out a little bottle of 99 bananas because it made sense. But I came away inspired, and I wrote a little thing here. I want to just share with you guys. All right, so tonight we gather for something a little different, a little bold even, and honestly, a lot of it unforgettable. I love you guys. I used to live out here. You guys have been a rock for me, and I really appreciate that. Now, I don't know if everyone here realizes it. We didn't really plan this out at first, but it all came together. We're just down the road from where Harambe gave up his life. And tonight, 10 years later, we launched... Okay. Yeah, Bill. Okay. 10 years later, we launched the Gorbusto line with 3 different monkeys/apes. An orangutan who plays the guitar, and he's kind of a badass. Chimp over here. Chimp's more of a nerd. He's a CEO. And then Gory the gorilla, which is kind of, based off of Harambe. He's a jock. He's a badass. He's a silverback. What do all these 3 things have in common? Nothing. Nothing at all. Other than a cigar lounge or a place like this is the only place where a CEO, a sports jock, and an artist would hang out and have a good fucking time together. So that was kind of the whole point of putting this project together. I appreciate it. So, I don't really know what else to say other than, Harambe was my hero 10 years ago, coming out of college. He was a meme, he was larger than life, and we really hope that these cigars become the same thing. And it's with people like you that'll make this happen. I really appreciate it. Thank you all very much. And if we could, raise a glass or raise a smoke up high and thank the big gorilla in the sky. Cheers! Harambe! I appreciate you guys. I'll end it off. Thank you so much.
I had fun with that. So, before we move on, I'm going to show you the ash. Super nice, super tight. I think I'm going to ash it, though. Only because I was talking a lot, and I think it kind of got a little... The flame on it got a little low. So I'm worried that the ash is not going to be quite as firm. Although, you know what? I just tried pushing against the side of the ashtray, and it didn't come right off. So I'm going to keep going. I thought that maybe it needed a touch-up light, but no, you know what? It's still going. It's still smoking. I just don't want to make a mess, but I guess it's my desk. It's not the inside of my car, so it's not the end of the world. Anyway, it was a great event. What you guys didn't see in that video was that the patio is kind of an L shape. So the section I was in was one leg. If you go around that corner, there's a whole lot more area. By the way, for those of you listening to the audio, I probably should have said this earlier. For those of you listening to the audio part of this, I'm going to upload the video of the episode, but I'm also going to upload just the video package that I just played. That way, if you want to go back and watch that part without having to figure out where in the episode it's at, You don't have to. I will upload the video package separately. So when you're looking for, that, just go to YouTube and Rumble, and I'll have just the video package from the event as well as the full episode here. So you can do that. But anyway, there were quite a few people. We counted that there's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of about 60 folks at this event. Now, I want to talk about the events at Party Source. Yeah, I need to hit it with fire. Sorry, Ash. I need to hit it with fire. So Party Source is unique in that they do an event literally every single Tuesday. Every single Tuesday evening, they have a company come out and do an event. And some are huge. Some are, simple. Some are reps. Some are primaries. It is what it is. They had a My Father event that apparently was huge not too long ago. It was a big deal. And in fact, it was the largest event they'd had since COVID, from what they said. But this event was kind of on average for them. They bring in about 60 to 80 people every single Tuesday night. And the way it works is, in order to attend, you go in and you buy I had to get my chimp going. You go in and you buy your bag. They put together bags. In this case, each bag had one of each of the Gorbustos, the chimp, the gory, and the orang. And it had a little blue raffle ticket. That bag is $20. Super cheap when you consider the fact that these things are just under $12 a piece. So you're basically buying just under two, and you're getting like one and a portion of it for free. So it's a good deal just on the cigars right off the bat. Then they have box specials going on. And guys, the amount of fucking boxes that they went through that night. They sold so many boxes of cigars. It was crazy. They had raffles for prizes and everything going on. They had little, not even kind of half shot little thimbles of whiskey. They were letting everybody test out. It was a barrel pick that Party Source had done, and everybody was getting a sample of it. And if they liked it, they could go into the bar, because they have a little bar there in the back that they could buy a pour for $4 and have that. But they also had bottles of it for sale if you wanted to buy it. It's a great deal. And every Tuesday you can go up there. It's a different brand, and you can get a little sampler bag, try the cigars, and do that. And guys, it does gangbusters every week. I was talking to Paul about it. He told me that originally they had it at this spot on the river right by like a Hooters and some other place. And back then they would be bringing in about 150 people every single week. And then they had like a customer appreciation party where like 300 to 400 people showed up to that. This time, but since they've moved it to what they call the Merchants Club in the back of the Party Source, they average about 80 people a week. But like, it's a great way for brands to get their cigars into the hands of a lot of customers at one time, and let them sample something at a good price, to where then if they like it, they're going to just start buying a bunch of the cigars. And it works. I think it's a wonderful idea. I think that a lot of shops, if shops would figure out a way to commit to it, and guys, it's a commitment, because you got to like build out the calendar. schedule the rep or the primary, schedule, getting in the stuff, building the bags, that kind of thing. It is a commitment, but still, it's a big deal, and I think it works over time. Additionally, they do a drawing once every 8 weeks where they draw for a pack of 30 cigars, and it's all the cigars that have been featured at the Tuesday night events for those 8 weeks. And so that's cool. So not only do you get the stuff, but then you're collecting over the course of 8 weeks these raffle tickets, and then on the 8th, you've got your stack, and they draw a number, and you could win 30 cigars at one time. It's pretty neat. But yeah, it was a good time, and people were happy, and it was a lot of fun. And we met Paul, who works in the humidor. Sean and I were sitting there. We met Paul, who works in the humidor, and we met Mark. And Mark, he was talking about what he calls his cigar 401k. And basically what he does, he's working now, but he's getting close to retirement. And what he does is he buys boxes of cigars now that he just sits and ages. And then when he retires, he's going to start smoking through that stock. And so he bought himself a box of the Aladino Vintage Rothschilds. That's a 50 count box. But he got that at this event because, there was a really good deal on it. And, he said that he really likes that size as well. I'll tell you, the box deals were really good, and the boxes were flying. They were flying. And the Gorbusto is a very different cigar for Aladino. Very different marketing for Aladino. But it's interesting because it's not nearly as buttoned up and refined as Aladino, prior was, but it's much more unique and kind of goofy. But people are taken to it, man. I mean, the experience that I've seen, the chatting with folks at PCA about it, this and that, whatever, they've got something with these monkeys, and I will freely admit, I don't get it. I don't see the link between the word Gorbusto and monkeys, but for some reason, people are digging the hell out of it, and I like the pictures are fun. The story is fun about the 3 different characters and, how they're different people, and that's kind of like in the cigar lounge and blah 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 and all this and everything. It's fun. I don't necessarily know if I get it. But whatever. It's fun. I guess that's all I can say is that it's just a fun brand. And 60 ring gauge is not really my thing, but I also understand why they're doing that because, again, you're not going to put out a Gorilla cigar and have it be a Lancero. It's going to be a big, thick, beastly thing. So it works. But yeah, it's fun. So anyway, after the event, I took Trey Mac back to his hotel. I came back to my hotel and crashed. Next morning, got up bright and early, went down and had breakfast. Sean was down there. He and I had breakfast together, and he left to go to the airport, and I hit the road back to my area to go and get the newspapers and do the deliveries. I had just over right around a 5-hour drive from Cincinnati, made it to Indianapolis. Once I got to Indianapolis, I went around the south side of the city. Once I got there, it was cake because at that point, that was familiar territory. That drive from St. Louis to Indianapolis, I know that. So once I got onto 70, just on the west side of Indianapolis by the airport, flying. Made it to my printer, got the papers, and again, didn't do any drive time reviews. It was very early morning, guys, and it was going to be, for me to do a drive time review at that point, I would have been like, buckle up, everybody. It's time for blah, blah, blah. It would have been bad. So, but I did smoke on that ride a little bit. I had a JFR, just Corojo Super Toro, and it was very good. I like that one. It did have a little cracking going on, but that leads me to something that I purchased later, and I'll talk about that in a second. I'm definitely going to talk about it more when it gets here because I want to try it. But anyway, got my papers, got the deliveries done, called it a day, and here we are. So, really random road trip to Cincinnati this week. And while it may have been, a little more than I probably should have done, it was a lot of fun. I don't regret it in the least. And for those of you who are in that area, hit up Party Source. They do those events every Tuesday. Trey Mac will be out there again September 22nd. So if, let's say, you can't make it to Pulpit Fest, but you live in that general area, Trey Mac will be in your neighborhood again September 22nd. Then he'll be down at Pulpit Fest, obviously, in October. But it was a good time, and I'm glad I went. I'm glad I saw the place. It was super impressive. I did not make it by Jungle Gyms. They were talking about that, and I guess that's another big place out there that it's a grocery store, but I guess they also sell cigars and do a lot of business selling cigars with them as well. So I didn't make it by there, but there's always another time. Because, I mean, shit, it's not like it's super far. Especially, if I'm going to visit my dad in Indy, it's kind of like, well, I can just go just a little bit further and make it there and whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. It's not like I'm going out there just on a whim, but yeah, if there's a reason, that's a different story. But yeah, so that would be my trip to Cincinnati, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video package, the sticks out for Harambe. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time goofing with it, and I enjoyed it. So, before I get into the entertainment report, let's wow. So the chimp is a great, this, to look at this, you would think Connecticut, but I don't believe it is. I'm trying to remember back to the 3 wrapper types on the Camp Aladino Gorbustos, because back when they were just labeled as Camp Aladino, they did disclose what the wrapper was, and there was a Cameroon, there was a Corojo, and there was a Maduro. If I had to guess, I would say that the chimp is the Corojo. And let me tell you, it's got the spice. I just did that retro hail. The spice level on this guy is high on the retro hail. The smoking experience itself, very smooth. Very smooth. Very good. I'm digging the hell out of that. And I'll say, you definitely get your time out of this cigar. The concept of a 4.5 by 60, that whole short and stubby size, to me kind of blows my mind. I don't like. I'm not attracted to the nub. I'm not attracted to. Truthfully, the size is not attractive to me. I'm not a Robusto smoker, and that's a 5 by 50, So like, I like to have a nice Toro size or greater cigar. I don't really want like a gigantic long thing, but like Toro or Churchill, I'm usually good with one or the other of those. But I'll tell you, for the smoking, the smoking experience of this Gorbusto, you get a lot of time out of it. And again, that ash is very well packed. It's a heavily packed cigar, and maybe that makes it smoke longer as well. But like, you get a lot of time out of this cigar. The draw on it is really, really good. The burn line on it is really nice. I could be showing you that, And no, I thoroughly am enjoying this. I actually will say this is now the final one of the 3. I've smoked the Gory, the Orang, and this. I had the Gory at the event, the Aladino event at Party Source. I had the Orang out in front of my hotel, and then now I'm smoking the Chimp here. If I had to say, gun to head, I think it's a fight between the Orang and the Chimp for my favorite. I actually think so far the Chimp is my favorite. I think the flavor on the Chimp is like probably the best. Yeah, I would say that I like the Chimp the best. I think the Gory is going to sell the best because, you know, the whole marketing concept of this is like, you know, pick the monkey that you identify with. Are you the nerdy, you know, buttoned up, uptight accountant type Chimp? Are you the artistic musician, painter Orang? Or are you the jock, the cool guy Gory? And I think everybody's going to want to be the cool guy Gory. But I think that the Chimp is actually the superior cigar. But yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't know. But all right, moving on, guys.
It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation.
All righty, guys. So I do have something that I watched. I watched it in my hotel room after I got done smoking the O-Ring. I came upstairs, and what was on TV, flipping through channels, and I come across just in time to see this eyeball open up. And then all of a sudden, Chris Farley and David Spade flip shit because they realized that the deer in their back seat has just sprung alive. I found Tommy Boy, and I got there just in time to watch that deer just rip apart their car. And from there, I proceeded to watch the rest of Tommy Boy because I love that movie. It's been a long time since I've seen it, and holy shit, it was funny. It was just great. It was what I needed in the hotel room as I'm drifting off to bed, was Tommy Boy. And I just it's a classic. It's such a classic movie, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Otherwise, entertainment wise, what did I listen to on the way out to the event? I did listen to the Cigar Authority. No, I'd already listened to the Cigar Authority. What podcast did I listen to on the way out to the event? Do I not have a history thing in this thing? Does it not? I guess not. That's weird. Well, I don't remember what it was. Oh, is there a new episode of this? There is not. Okay. Sorry, I got real excited there for a moment. Yeah, I don't remember what podcast it was I was listening. Oh, yes, I do. It wasn't on the way out, it was on the way back. On the way back, I listened to the Ashholes episode where they talked about their PCA recap. And I will say, so PCA is not to like, you know, shit on them or anything, but PCA has put out their trade show attendance for this year. They're saying that the badges issued was up versus 2025. They're saying that the retail accounts was up and blah, blah. They're saying a big increase and everything. Now they're claiming an increase of nearly 15% in retail accounts and an increase of nearly 17% in retail badges. But they're also saying since the move to New Orleans in 2025. So that includes last year's numbers as well. And I'll say, guys, I'm not saying that if you play with numbers, you can get whatever result you want. But what I will say is there may have been more badges issued this year, but I think it's because shops brought more people with them this year than in previous years and everything else. But my little anecdotal conversations with a few people, and I'm going to point out specifically not Trey Mac, because here I am talking about how I spent all this time with him. I don't want anybody to think of that. So, I'm not completely throwing a source under the bus by talking about how I spent all this time with him and then being like, oh, blah, blah, blah. I do talk to other people. The number of actual retailer, accounts, retail shops attending this year, from what I'm told, was one of the lowest in PCA. So, I'm not shitting on, I'm not looking to cause trouble, but we can make numbers say what they want to say, and we were right. There were, and I think that's because that showed in the way that the business kind of came to an abrupt end about halfway through the second day. Everybody got what they needed to get done the first day and the first half of the second day. By the end of the second day on Sunday, they were kind of meandering around, wrapping up, and then Monday was just some people just going around mopping up and calling it a day. But it was less. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. I'll just leave it at that. I just want truth, little truth and transparency in the process here. I mean, I get it. Everybody wants to make it look like everybody's big and bad, and look at me puffing my chest out. But call it what it is. If it, and it's not like it's because PCA fucked up and did something wrong. Let's be real. It's the state of the world. It's the state of the economy. I'm not blaming PCA for a decrease in, retailer attendees. It's not their fault. They put on the same show that they've done before, and it's fine. I like New Orleans as a venue a hell of a lot better than Vegas as a venue. So I don't think PCA did anything wrong. I think it's just one of those things that the economy, with it being what it is, nobody's doing well right now. Nobody's doing well right now. So, it's going to show. At a thing like this, it's going to show. You cannot convince me that this was this banner year in this year's economy. But that's neither here nor there. All right. Well, I really am enjoying my chimp, but I think it's time, because I have reached out to Pinky, and I have inquired about when she has time to get together to record more fun facts. We're kind of coming up at the end of the school year. Things are going on with her son, and so it's going to be a few weeks before I can sit down and have her record out some more fun facts, but they are going to come back eventually. So for right now, we just have to take a break on the fun facts. But I do have something else. Now, it's not a lemonade review because it's not Tuesday, but I do have a beverage that I'm going to try with this cigar. I picked it up and I'm enjoying it. It's my Fitz's Black Cherry Soda. Fitz's Soda is out of St. Louis. For those of you who come to St. Louis, especially if PCA decides it's going to locate here for 1 year, you should go by the Fitz's bottling facility. They have a restaurant, and you can see all the soda being made and bottled and everything. It's a good time. They have all these floats, and they're delightful. They make all these different ice cream floats with their different sodas. This one specifically, they do one with the black cherry soda and chocolate ice cream, and it is divine. But this time, the beverage is brought to you by Drew Estate, who provided me with this bottle opener at one point or another. I believe this was for the maybe 10-year anniversary of Undercrown. I think that's when I got this, because that's the Undercrown Cigars logo on this. But that says 10 on the little crown there. So this is their 10-year anniversary Undercrown bottle opener, and it's the only bottle opener I've got. So it's perfect for this, because Fitz's does not do flip top. and so you got to have a bottle opener. So yeah, last time the beverage was brought to you by McAuliffe. This time it's brought to you by Drew Estate. Now, maybe one day I'll actually have somebody pay for the beverage, and we'll really highlight the beverage in the episode. But anyway, so now I have my chimp, I have my black cherry soda. Let's see if they pair together. Getting that slight little bit of creamy spice from the cigar. Oh, and that sweet black cherry flavor from the soda. I will say, I'm not a soda guy. Like, I don't like Coke, I don't like Pepsi, and I've never been a soda guy. Orange cream soda from Fitz's and this black cherry from Fitz's. These two I could drink, and I have to limit myself because they do have the sugar. They do have the cane sugar in them. So these come in a 4-pack, and this is the first that I have consumed out of it, and it'll be a while before I have another, but that's okay. Little bits in moderation, it's fine. But it's a delightfully delightfully sweet cherry flavor. It does actually pair nicely with the creamy spiciness of the chimp. It has just a little bit of the bubbly that goes along with the tingles on the tongue from the chimp, and it's good. I like it. It's a good pairing. So, all right, guys. Socials. I'm available on the socials. On Instagram at The Cigar Pulpit. On Facebook, we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. It's a private group. You can find that. Request to join. I'll add you. It's a good time. We have Twitter/X. I am on Rumble and YouTube, where you can watch the show. And again, I will have the video package that I had earlier in this episode put up separately, so that you don't have to search through the whole show to find it if you are an audio listener. I do the drive time reviews every Wednesday. They are video only. They show up on my YouTube, Rumble, and TikTok account, although I do think I need to put this past Wednesdays up on TikTok. Now that I think about it, I think I was driving home and I didn't do that. So yeah, I do need to put up the that. But by the time you hear this, it will be up. But every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Central Time, that goes live. And if you have a cigar that you think I should do, send me a recommendation. I have quite a few, obviously, that I've picked up from PCA, and I've been collecting, and I'm going to be building out a calendar and everything like that. But if there's a specific cigar that you're thinking like, yeah, I want to hear a drive time review on that cigar, let me know. If it's one that is difficult for me to track down, I might ask you, if I can cash app you some money and you can send me one. But if it's one that I can easily find, then, I'll take requests. And then, the Ask the Pulpit. I need your calls on the hotline. Area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000, or Tofu Pie with no E, 0000. You can call in with your comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, whatever you happen to have. Just call in and I'll do episodes where I play your calls and respond to them. And then finally, there is the Cigar Chronicle newsletter. I know the month of April ended yesterday. Hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, you will also have a Cigar Chronicle in your inbox. April got away from me between PCA and everything else. But if all goes according to my plan, right before the end of April 30th, you will have received a Cigar Chronicle for April. And I'll be more back on track in May. There, we don't have PCA and all kinds of other shit going on, so we'll be more on track in May. But anyway, with the Cigar Chronicle, you head on over to cigarpulpit.com. A little pop-up box comes up. Put in your email address, and you're signed up on the list. And if you are a cigar lounge, shop, bar, whatever you happen to be, and you would like to have print copies of the Cigar Chronicle available for your patrons to look at, read, interact with, whatever, reach out to me, nick@cigarpulpit.com. That's NICK @cigarpulpit.com. And I would be happy to add your place to the list to receive those. It's totally free for the shop, lounge, whatever, and it is totally free to your consumers as well. So it's just an extra bonus add-on. It's nothing that costs you a dime. So you go from there. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like this was rather scattershot. Like, I feel like it was a little random, like me explaining everything, but I hope it made sense. I hope you liked the little video package. And anyway, I have enjoyed my Gorbusto Chimp. I will say, track down the 3 cigars, give them all a try. They're really good. And let me know which one your favorite is. Again, going into this, I don't think I would have said the Chimp. I think I would have I think the Orang was probably the like odds-on favorite for me. And I think it's still my second place. But after having smoked this Chimp, I think the Chimp is the best one of the 3. It's so good. Nothing against the Gory. I think the Gory is good. Maduro is kind of one of those things that, depending upon the tobacco type, it can be good or it can be a little rough for me. Some tobacco types, specifically San Andreas and Broadleaf, depending upon a variety of factors, I either really like them or they're just off-putting. And sometimes when I get them, they can be really stiff and almost difficult to smoke. The Gory, to me, was right on the edge of that. Now, again, personal preference. I liked it. Flavor-wise, it was really good. It was not my favorite smoke of the 3. Still good, but not my favorite smoke. This Chimp is by far my favorite smoke, my favorite flavor. Just in general, I think it's my favorite one of the 3. But I also wonder, with the branding on it and everything, I wonder if it's going to be the least or the lowest selling of the 3. Because who wants to be the nerdy guy when they can be the cool jock? Just wondering. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for taking time out. I appreciate it. Coming up on the show, we're going to have a couple of different things. I'm not entirely sure. I'm still working on a show for Tuesday. Yes, figuring out a topic for Tuesday. And but Friday next week, so a week from today when this episode drops, I'm going to be joined by Lito Gomez Jr. of La Flor Dominicana, and we're going to get into a nice long conversation all about the future of the cigar industry. We're going to be talking about the next generation, but I'm not getting into like, oh, you're this new generation of Gomez's. It's like no. I want to talk about where he sees the industry in the future. Because I think it's one thing to ask the guys that have been in it for a while, but it's another thing to ask this new generation coming up, where do they see the industry? Because they're much more in tune with technology and a whole bunch of other aspects that I think is gonna make some changes. So anyway, so look forward to that. It'll be fun. I like Lito. He's a good dude, and I think it'll be a good conversation. All right, guys, take it easy. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe, stay smoky. Take care, everyone.